Hey guys, welcome back to our old farmhouse. Outside right now, just finishing up some of our morning chores. A little bit late getting out this morning. Chris and I, we took Atlas somewhere pretty special. It was the Saginaw Children's Zoo. I'll throw a little bit of footage in here at the end of this vlog, but we'll have a video just for that. I strongly suggest if you have children and you live in the Saginaw area or even here in Michigan, it is something worth checking out. I think it was $5 each for us to get in. Even with everything going on, a ton of the events there were closed. They have a train and stuff, so we didn't get to do that, but still well worth the $5. But like I said, just out here finishing up some of our chores. These guys are all taken care of. Our egg layers, they're all set. Tomorrow we are heading into town to go get feed. Family Farm and Homes having their 4-H livestock show. They'll be selling animals there, so Amelia's not with us this weekend, but Atlas is, so we're gonna go check that out tomorrow morning. So stay tuned for that vlog. And other than that, we're gonna get over to the barn, we're gonna get some feed moved around. All right guys, well, we started storing our feed in these metal garbage cans and really like it. Easy to open. It keeps all kinds of mice, cats, anything like that out of them. Unfortunately though, we've had trouble finding more of those same kinds, so we ran into the town yesterday, got some plastic ones. I'm going to get some of the feed or scratch, that kind of stuff transferred over to these, and then we'll be all set to go. I've kind of just been setting what I can get in here at this point. But you know, I figured, well, I have you guys here. Something interesting happened at work the other day, and I thought it was kind of a good story to share with you guys. So, most of you guys know I work in education, and the other day I'm talking to a parent, and she had some questions about food. And there's a really cool program here in Michigan where people who receive WIC or other kinds of state benefits have the option to get vouchers, and those vouchers can be redeemed at different farmers markets. And as I'm kind of talking to this parent, she said, you know, hey, I really wish we could grow grow some of this food my parents used to when I was a kid, and you know, it's just too expensive to do. And I was really taken back by that, because that is a question that I get asked quite a bit. So then it got a little bit more funny, because you know, another example was the other day I'm sitting down, I'm eating lunch, and my assistant comes in, and another colleague from another department comes in, and as I'm eating, I have this tomato that I'd actually picked out of our garden just that morning. And she, the colleague that joined us, she asked where I got the tomato from, and I thought it was kind of funny, and I said, well, you know, I picked it from my garden. And she was acting really jealous over this tomato, and she was going on about how she loves them, and how the grocery stores that she's been going to, they've just been non-existent, or if they have them, they're just in really, really rough shape. And you know, it really got me thinking, where I work at, it's a very, very high poverty area. In fact, it's one of the highest poverty areas in the state. And it's just gotten to the point where, in talking with them, or talking with parents, it's becoming more and more difficult to find fresh food, but at the same time, it's become so easy to find just crap foods. And you know what I'm talking about, like cookies, ice cream, potato chips, that kind of thing, or those kind of thing. And it really got me thinking, like, why is it such a difficulty to find these things? And I don't want to say that it's pandemic related. I'm sure to a certain extent that it is this time around, but it's just always been that way for certain communities, especially around here. So I myself, I left work that day, and it was really kind of bothering me, and I'm not super familiar with the area, so I drove around a little bit, and I found one of the grocery stores, and I went in, and sure enough, this little itty bitty dinky produce section, which frankly speaking, I've seen produce stands set up out at roadsides that were bigger than this at the supermarket, and it was almost completely empty. And I didn't really pay attention there, but I left there. I went to a big box store which had a traditional sized produce area, but a lot of it was filled up with like pop displays, potato chip displays, caramel dip displays next to where apples would be found, and they had some apples. I don't want to say it was completely empty, but for the most part, most of their fresh fruits and vegetables were gone. And there was some exotic things. They had some pineapple. They had a lot of watermelon. Don't get me wrong, they had watermelon. But it really got me thinking as I looked at that. A lot of the prices there were higher than what they are where I shop at, which is kind of in the other direction. And that said, some of their other foods, again, like cookies, chips, those kind of things, were on sale, whereas they weren't over where I lived. And I really want to go back and check it out in a couple of weeks and see if it's the same or not. But you know, just from talking to the parents that I'm talking to the staff that I talk to, this really seems to be the case. And I hate to say it, but from the sounds of it, from the sounds of the people I've talked to, it seems to be targeted based on low-income, well-developed urban areas. And whereas we're kind of out in the country, we're in a smaller town, 20 minutes in the other direction or 25 minutes in the other direction, I can get into a slightly bigger city, bigger compared to us, not big by any means. And we have access to 4 or 5 grocery stores right there, and they're always very well stocked. They're always affordable. They have tons of variety. So it really got me thinking about this kind of food diversity that happens between urban areas, small towns, and then kind of rural areas, because the same thing can happen in rural areas too. There's just not a lot of grocery stores. Like we see a lot of Dollar Generals in certain areas, and where we used to live, there was one grocery store, then a Dollar General, and the grocery store was barely ever open, and when it was, the produce that they had in there was extremely expensive, not fresh. I mean, it was like ready to be thrown away. And yet at the same time they I don't know, they just didn't have much of a variety. So I was glad to see that in that town right after we moved, one of the I think it was Dollar General and Family Dollar, they started offering produce there. So again, really excited for that, at least for those people. But it really brings up again a food divide between communities. And you know, I'm curious to know how it is where you guys live. Has anyone noticed that? You know, just pay attention, I guess, the next time you're at the store, especially if you're at a store that you don't normally shop at, and see if that's something you notice, because it's certainly something that I'm starting to notice. But I got this stuff in canisters, all of our feed, so we're going to get that moved around, and I'll check in with you guys in just another minute. Alright, super glad that's done. Be a lot more easier now that the weather's kind of getting crappy for the season. But we have our rabbit feed, egg layer feed, our meat bird feed, and then chicken treats, so we're all set. So sure enough, I'm walking around out here and it's starting to rain out yet again. It stopped there for a second, but the forecast said no rain today for like another 5 or 6 hours. So that's really, really discouraging. I gotta head over here and I gotta get this big stick over here, get this pulled up so I can finish mowing later if the weather cooperates. But Atlas and I, we started earlier, we ran out of gas, so I'm gonna have to run up to the gas station and then get back to work. But I have this neighbor that it seems like we've been in a feud now since we bought our house. She lives over on the other side, and it's really funny because she came over, she said hi. There's a very, very small section on the other side of these woods over here that she owns. It used to be part of this house's property, but the previous owners, apparently like 15 years ago, kind of got into a pinch financially, and they sold it to her. Now, I don't know. She really keeps questioning where the property line is, both on this side and on this side. We got, sorry, it was surveyed. We have the survey paperwork, and according to the company that surveyed the property, we own 25 or 30 feet into the woods around the edge of our property. And sure enough, ever since I talked to her, she continues to keep mowing way into our property, like way past like her wildest expectations of what she owns. So it's just really getting to a point where it's beyond frustrating. That's her over there mowing. Every single time I come out here, it seems like she starts mowing and then she sits on the edge with the mower just glaring at me. And I know it's to keep me from vlogging, but you know, at some point she's just got to get over it. It's not like there's anything, not like we're building anything on the property line where she might be concerned about, and she's not, that we would be concerned about. But it's just funny how some people can be. Sure enough, she was done mowing. That's one of the reasons too why I was working in the barn. And now she's back out here mowing again. And again, I have no idea. She's been mowing. They have a little teeny lot. I want to say they've been mowing for like 3 hours. There's no way that it should take that long. At this point, I just know that she's kind of messing with us. But anyways, back to what I was talking about before. So yeah, kind of food availability is becoming increasingly prevalent, I think, in stores. So check it out. Like I said, I'd love to hear in the comment section, you know, what you guys are noticing. But other than that, I think we're hitting a point now where, you know, if you look at the weather, things have been just so extreme lately that I think it's going to become more and more difficult to find fresh fruits, vegetables, those kind of things. I think we're going to see more stores selling more locally grown things. We have Meijer's, which is a grocery store here in Michigan. I think it's in Indiana, Ohio too. But don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it is. And they do an awesome job sourcing fresh fruits and vegetables that are grown by local farmers within usually like a 500 or 600 mile radius. And that's one of the reasons why I really like shopping there. Plus they have a really great variety. But this year, just looking at the produce section, apples have been good. Watermelons have really been kind of hit or miss. Fresh fruits like and vegetables, I'm thinking like strawberries, corn, blueberries, what else do we, God, I'm drawing a blank now, tomatoes even, they've been just really, really rough looking. Cauliflower, cabbage has been okay, I guess, but lettuce has been horrible. Swiss chard has been like non-existent. They can't seem to get any in anywhere. My wife was talking to one of the people that work in their produce department at our local one. I think it was our local one or another one we'd gone to. And he'd made a comment that this year's just been really, really rough for what they're getting in. And they just don't have many options for availability. So that said, I think that right now is a time more so than ever before that, you know, if you're not gardening, if you're not raising your own meat livestock, and even if you're just on a small like residential lot, you might want to start considering growing something, especially if you have something that you love that is becoming more and more hard to find. Because I mean, between the weather that we've been having, between just shortages across the board, and with everything else that's going on, I mean, 2020's been rough, but I don't see it getting much better. I think that some of the restrictions will be lifted here soon, but other than that, I think we're gonna be stepping into kind of a change in the timeline where it's going to become more and more difficult, like I said, to find these things. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. As always, click the subscribe button, share the video if you enjoy it, give us a thumbs up. We try to respond to all of our comments a couple of times a week. We are not doing any on the Harvest Moon giveaway right now. I just been giving thumbs up to as many of those as possible. But that's coming up here pretty soon. I think that's next week if I remember correctly. So make sure if you haven't already checked out that video, you click on that and give that a thumbs up. You have to answer the question. And other than that, share it, because we have some really cool giveaways. It's not a requirement, but we want I want to encourage people. That's what we're out here doing this for. So other than that, I'm going to head inside because it is starting to rain out a little bit more. And that's it for today's vlog. You guys have a good day. So we walk along.
So every penguin gets their vitamins in the morning. They just do 1 or 2 penguins at a time. Hey, Atlas. Atlas.